All we want to see is good fights, and this is a big test for Yuriorkis Gamboa tonight. 29-year-old Orlando Salido with 34 wins on his resume, coming off a 12-round decision win against Cristobal Cruz, avenging a loss, a split decision loss in 2008. Salido really confident coming into this fight. He says, look, I understand Gamboa had a great amateur career, but let's face it, who has he fought? He's got great speed, but we know he can go down because, let's face it, Gamboa has been down 4 times.
And Salido has a sneaky right hand. He heats up as the fight goes on, as I mentioned earlier, as most pressure fighters do.
And Max, this guy turned pro at the age of 15. He's been at it a long time, 291 rounds as a pro.
You look at his record, it's in 3 stages. When he was a teenager getting beaten up by men, then as he matured, starting to hold his own, and then when he started earning enough to become a full-time fighter and leave his day job as a construction worker, he's become a much more successful world-class fighter.
And he mentioned the fight against Juan Manuel Marquez. That payday enabled him to give up work in construction and become a full-time fighter. Well, Yuriorkis Gamboa, we last saw him here on HBO's Boxing After Dark on January the 23rd at Madison Square Garden against Rogers Motagua. And I'll tell you what, it was a dominant performance by Gamboa against a rugged Motagua.
This is the kind of stuff that Gamboa has. If you don't have anything to slow his roll, he will roll right over you, and he did it against Motagua early. Dropped
him in the first round, knocked him down twice in the second round, and finished him off in the second round with a TKO. Very impressive by Gamboa in New York City. After that, he had a 12-round win in Germany against Jonathan Barros to make the 3rd defense of his belt. Born in Guantanamo, Cuba, the 2004 Olympic gold medalist was favored to win a gold medal in Beijing in 2008, but decided to defect in 2006 while training in Venezuela for the Pan Am Games. Crossed into Colombia, signed with a German-based promotional company. So he's got a fan base in the United States, especially in South Florida and in Germany.
I mean, he is the most talented of all the Cuban stars who've defected that we've seen so far, and the sky is really the limit, given his athleticism, his attitude in the ring, his general aggressiveness, and his improved technique as a pro.
You know, and he said, a lot of the Cubans that have come to the United States have not had the great success. He said it wasn't just to get to the U.S., but it was to maintain that hunger to stay great, stay disciplined, stay dedicated, and not relaxed. And so far, the 28-year-old Gamboa has held up that end of the bargain. So, time for the official introductions once again to the ring and Lupe Contreras.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Pearl at the Palms Resort and Casino, this is the main event of the evening, being brought to you by Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated in association with Arena Box Promotions, Promociones Sanfer, Tecate, Cerveza con Carácter, and HBO Sports. This bout, 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF and WBA Featherweight Championships of the world. Supervising for the IBF, Lou Pryluker. For the WBA, Renzo Bagnariol. Our judges scoring the bout are Dick Houck, Robert Hoyle, and Paul Smith. The referee in the ring, fair but firm, Joe Cortez. And now, ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, Mexico and Cuba. ¿Quién es el más macho? Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He steps into the ring wearing Cubano red, white, and blue. His official weight, 126 pounds. As an amateur, he conquered the Olympic gold medalist in '04, representing his homeland of Cuba. And as a professional, he has gone on to an unblemished record consisting of 18 victories. 15 of those victories coming by way of knockout. The reigning WBA featherweight champion of the world, de Guantánamo, Cuba, el Ciclón de Guantánamo, Yuriorkis, Gamboa. His opponent across the ring in the blue corner. He steps in wearing black, trimmed in gold. He weighed in officially at 126 pounds. As a professional, he maintains a record consisting of 34 victories against 10 losses, 2 draws, 1 no decision, with 22 of his victories coming by way of knockout. The IBF featherweight champion of the world, de Ciudad Obregón, Sonora, Mexico, Orlando, el City Salido.
Okay, Gamboa, Salido. Caballeros, ya vi las reglas a los dos en el camerino. Espero una pelea limpia. Los golpes aquí están buenos, aquí los pies están buenos. Protéjese en todo momento, que Dios los bendiga a los dos y suerte.
Orlando Salido heats up as the fight goes on, but Yuriorkis Gamboa starts white hot. Can Salido even get out of those early rounds to test Gamboa late?
Gamboa's been on the canvas 4 times. Salido has been stopped 5 times. But they all came in his first 15 bouts, all in Mexico. He was knocked out in his pro debut. Remember, he turned pro at the ripe old age of 15. So you can almost discount that stuff early in his career. That was 14 years ago. Gamboa in the silver, blue, and red. Salido in the black and gold. 10 of Gamboa's 15 knockouts have come within the first 2 rounds.
When Gamboa started his pro career, there was very little circling and feeling out. There was just the bum's rush. And he's so fast and explosive a puncher that he could get away with it. Started getting dropped as the competition stepped up a little bit, and he's made an effort to refine his technique. And we see here he's certainly not giving Salido the bum's rush yet.
You know what else he's refined nicely is his English. During our fighter meetings, he was throwing in a little English.
He works with an English tutor.
He realizes what it's all about. He said, listen, I'm aggressive. People like that. It's my quality. He understands that part of the deal is to put on a good show.
Well, in comparing him to Juan Manuel Lopez, and the top ranked, their promoters' idea is to build this into a super fight. Good right hand from Gamboa, right up the middle. Lopez looked, well,
there's the speed by Gamboa.
You see he just offensively overwhelming Gamboa when he lets his hands go. But early on, as I mentioned, he'd been dropped a couple times, and suddenly it looked like, well, maybe a guy like Lopez is too technically good for him. But recently, Gamboa has looked so good that most people you talk to favor him to beat anyone in the division, maybe except for Caballero.
Salido thought about that long right hand and thought otherwise, knowing the speed of Gamboa, being able to counter a wild shot. Right hand touched the body of Salido. Gamboa blocks most of that combination from Salido. End of round one.